Why are Taylor Swift and Lionel Richie applying for trademarks right now? Well, it's likely because of generative AI. But the more important and complex question here is, will it work? The answer is that it's doubtful or at least limited. Let me explain. So Taylor Swift has asked the US Patent and Trademark Office to issue her federal trademarks over her voice, specifically saying, quote, "Hey, it's Taylor," and "Hey, it's Taylor Swift." So as part of the filing, she also included audio clips. Last week, Lionel Richie joined in. He filed 4 applications covering sound recordings of the choruses of some of his biggest songs. It's worth noting here that trademarks for sounds are historically very rare. One example of one that actually worked, though, is the dum-dum from Netflix. So first of all, they just applied. It's not actually definitely sure that Lionel and Taylor will both get these trademarks. But clearly both of them decided that this was worth a shot. With the rise of generative AI, famous figures are in the hot seat because it's really easy to make deepfakes of them now and disseminate that across the internet. Believe it or not, there's actually very little that an artist can do when this happens to them. Right now, an individual's name, image, likeness, or even voice are protected under these things called publicity rights or right of publicity. But it's very important to note that this is only regulated on a statewide level, not the federal level. So let's say you live in Kansas City. You might actually have less protection over these rights than someone who lives in Nashville. So basically, just in general, it is really hard to get people to stop doing deepfakes online. The music business at large is very aware of this challenge. And so a lot of key players are pushing for this thing called the No Fakes Act. That would introduce stronger safeguards for artists and basically anyone in the country at the federal level. But if the No Fakes Act even were to pass, it's gonna take a minute. So you might be asking why a trademark is not good enough to protect an artist's voice. So typically trademarks are used for words or logos that are tied very specifically to a good or service and are linked in the minds of consumers as part of that good or service. They're not designed to give blanket protection over a person's overall identity or voice. So let's say Taylor Swift gets the trademarks she wants. She trademarked very specific phrases. So what if someone sounded very similar to Taylor Swift, but they used a different word or phrase? Is she able to prove that they have infringed upon one of her trademarks in that instance? If you want to learn more, I actually have a music business podcast. We put out episodes every single week about different facets in the music industry. We have a lot of stuff covering AI, and this past week was all about super fandom and Taylor Swift and why she's inspired such loyalty among fans. So check it out if this kind of thing interests you.